So glad to have you join us right here. And we begin with the lingering political conflict in Rivers State, south of the country, where the State Assembly is not backing down on its impeachment proceedings against Governor Sim Fubara and his deputy, Ngozi Odu. Now, on Friday, the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Martins Amewele, called on the Chief Judge of the state to immediately establish a 7-member committee to commence the impeachment proceedings to set up that panel. Well, addressing his colleagues during plenary, Amewele cited constitutional provisions that guide the process of investigating allegations against public office holders. Meanwhile, a Rivers State High Court sitting in Port Harcourt has issued an order restraining the Chief Judge of Rivers State from receiving or acting on any impeachment notice directed at Governor Sim Fubara and his deputy, Professor Ngozi Odu. Well, for more on the political storm in Rivers State and efforts by elders, youths, women groups and all of that to ensure that the political rift in the state is contained before it gets out of hand, we have joining us in the studio the spokesman of the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities Youth Leaders Forum, who is also the President General of the Ogoni Youth Federation. And of course, we have right here in the studio Mr. Legbosi Yamaabana. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how young people like you in Rivers State are feeling at the moment, because a whole lot of Nigerians are really worried for people of Rivers State during this time. Can you take us into some of the measures that we've seen out of the political theater being put in place to ensure that this political crisis does not go ahead again? We are seeing about 4 lawmakers stepping aside, saying that the impeachment proceedings should not be allowed to go ahead, appealing, and they said it was based on the talk of elders who have spoken with them. And then we also saw the Niger Delta Forum constituting a committee to actually intervene. What are youths like you actually doing about this?
Well, thank you very much. I want to say that what is happening in Rivers State is really, really disturbing and uncalled for. As youths of the states, we are not very pleased with the current trend, because this tends to take us backward. Rivers State should be progressing. Rivers State is very strategic to the economic of this nation, and whatever retard it backward is not in the best interests of the people of Rivers State and the nation at large. Now, going into the current political impasse, what are the grounds? What is the issue? What are the bases for this whole hula baloo? From the impeachment notice I cited, which emanated from the Martin Amewele-led assembly, one of the reasons they adumbrated is that the governor of the state has refused to present the 2026 appropriation bill. And to speak to that, I want to recall that during the tenure of the sole administrator, budget was sent to Mr. President. Mr. President submitted same to the National Assembly, and that was passed into law. And that budget is still subsisting, is still operational. Now, Section 122 of the Nigerian Constitution is explicit. Assuming but not conceding that that budget is has overlived or outlived its lifespan, the Constitution made it explicitly clear that the governor of the state has the right to authorize spending from the Consolidated Revenue Fund for a period of 6 months into the new financial year. And this is just January. And you are hearing all this noise. That's why we said the reason for this impeachment move is still opaque. It's not very clear to us as Rivers people.
All right.
Because we cannot fathom, just like I have explained to you, why that should be a basis. Now, the second reason that was put forward by the Assembly is that the governor of the state withheld their funds and has refused to pay them their entitlements. and documentary evidence available to all Nigerians, which copies are in my phone so I can forward to you, shows that the same sole administrator during his tenure paid the members of assembly all their entitlements. However, before this impeachment move, this same assembly went back to the governor requesting for that same payment they've gotten, a duplicate of same payments. And perhaps the governor did not assent to that, which is another reason why they are insisting that they must impeach the governor. So you can see that all of this is about personal aggrandizement. It's about self. It's not about the states.
All right. And that's why, I actually said we should speak about this. What exactly are youths like you doing? Because, the elders have been doing different things, interventions and all of that. What would youth groups like you want to do at this moment now? Because, the impeachment process has started.
Well, as far as we are concerned as youths of not just the state, but of the region, we are not resting on our oars. We are consulting with relevant stakeholders on this matter to see how this matter can be resolved amicably. However, the impeachment notice that was sent, I'm also aware, just like you read ab initio, that the Court of Competent Jurisdiction has issued a restraining order. And as of today, that is the position of the law. So that impeachment process cannot go on. The Chief Judge is the Chief Law Officer of Rivers State, and I believe you understand better that his hands are tied. He cannot go on with that impeachment. However, like I said,
well, I'm not sure you are abreast of what the previous Supreme Court judgments have said on this issue, that there's no arm of government that can stop another arm of government from performing its function. Can the courts in Rivers State stop another arm of government from performing its function? Because, we've seen that happening, and the Supreme Court judgments at several times. The process has to go on based on what happened in other states, and then you go to court to determine whether the procedure was right or not. Is Governor Fubara not misusing the state courts against a legally constituted State House of Assembly?
Well, for those that knows Governor Fubara, he's not someone that even meddle into judicial processes.
Well, I'm saying this because there are accusations by FCT Minister Nyesom Wike that Governor Fubara is using the courts in the state to actually counter certain actions, and it's an abuse of court processes and powers of the governor.
That accusation is unfounded. And like I was saying, the governor is not of that breed. He doesn't meddle into such activities. However, I want to tell you that it has happened in the past. It's not the first case study where the court will have to step in when rules are being altered. There are procedures for impeachment of a governor of a state, and those procedures has been observed and breached. And that was why the governor went to court. Not just the governor and the deputy went to court.
Yeah, of course.
This matter is already in court, it's sub judice. I wouldn't want to dive so much on it, but I want to say something. And this is to all Nigerians, to also see through the plots that is being orchestrated. Now, assuming, but not conceding, that His Excellency Sasmelaye Fubara committed any of this infraction, did his deputy also commit same?
Well,
no.
They said so.
No,
the allegations that they tabled, that she's also abusing her powers as deputy governor and all of that.
The deputy governor is not vicariously liable for the actions of the governor. As assuming the governor even did any of this, I have told you he didn't do it. Now, the main issue here, which Nigerians must know, is this that I want to analyze. You see, the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly is from the same ethnicity with the Minister for FCT. And that same ethnic bloc in Rivers State, which is the Query ethnic bloc, has been governor of Rivers State for 16 consecutive years. Rivers State is a multi-ethnic state. I am an Ogoni man. Ogoni has not been governor. We have Ijo, we have Kalabari, we have the Obolo, we have a lot of ethnic groups in Rivers State. And so the man wants to be a governor through the back door. And that is why they included the deputy governor in that impeachment. You know, Nigerians are not fools.
Well, I mean, shouldn't you also be commending the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike that you're castigating now for helping an Ijaw man to become governor for the first time? Isn't that also a plus for him? I mean, I'm not holding brief for him, but these are what, you know, rational people will be saying, that if you're accusing the same man, I mean, shouldn't he have brought another Ikwere man to take over from him? But he decided to bring an Ijaw man. And if he says that Ijaw man is not serving the interests, the overall interests of the state, shouldn't he intervene?
I don't know what you mean by the interest of the state.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want you to define, because some people are saying that it's his own personal interest that he's after. While Wike is saying that no, there were agreements that were put in place, and those agreements were for the interests of the state, which Fubara is not agreeing to, and he has threatened to release those agreements.
Well, first to start with, God is God and nobody can be God. Nobody came out from the blues. Nobody has ever come out from the blues to become a governor of a state or anybody in this country. Somebody must actually lead you through. The FCT minister didn't just swoon to become the local government chairman, rose to be chief of staff and to governor and now minister and all of that. Somebody actually helped him. And I'm sure that those that helped him, like His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan and his wife and others, did not, after helping him, turn around to detect for him what he would do. They allowed him, you know, exhibit his own innate potential. And so to say that the FCT minister would have will now, you know, box the governor to a corner the way it has been done because he brought him, I do not want to agree with that narrative. In fact, it is demonic. It is not found in anywhere that reasonable people should be discussing. That said, to talk about the agreements, these agreements, we've only heard agreement is agreement. That's what we've been hearing on air. We've not seen any of these agreements. And Rivers people deserve and, you know, have the right to know whatever agreement that is being entered. Because Rivers State is owned by all Rivers people. It's not owned by one man.
Well, some people have said that the agreement was entered into even in PDP, not in APC. I mean, that's some of the new arguments we're hearing.
You rightly said that the FCT minister has threatened to release such agreements. That should be the starting point. Let's see that agreement. If that agreement is pro-River States, or if the agreement is conscripted in a way that you want to package River State and make a one-man personal estate. If it is pro-Rivers people, will all embrace it. All right. But if it is the other way around, no Rivers man will do that because we are not a conquered people. Rivers people are very intelligent and we know our right from our left. And I want to state this very clearly to the FCT minister. This one is like an appeal. Like you rightly said, Governor Fubara is like the house built by the FCT minister. And I have never seen where one builds a beautiful edifice only to turn around to pull it down. There's no need for this needless, you know, macabre dance that we are experiencing in the States. There's need for them to come together, resolve this matter once and for all in the interest of all stakeholders and all Rivers people.
All right, very interesting perspective indeed. You brought in there an appeal, I mean. But I want to put something to you. As young people in Rivers State, a whole lot of people watching from outside Rivers State, I say that you young people are part of the problem of Rivers State. Because before you know it, Wike will come and gather young people and everybody will be beating and releasing new song, new album and all of that. And before you know it, the governor too will also gather. How can youth allow themselves to be used by politicians to the detriment of the state? What are youth groups like yours doing to ensure that people are sensitized that governance is serious business and not releasing albums, you know, for politicians while the, you know, governance in the state suffers?
Well, I'm a youth leader in Rivers State and in the Niger Delta in the nation. I'm not sure you've seen me anywhere singing war song or beating those drums.
Well, every now and then we are covering this news. Every day people are releasing new songs on behalf of Wike or on behalf of Fubara, following and all of that, and threatening songs that actually, when you hear them, you know that it's actually meant to provoke the other side to violence.
Well, the songs you talk about, I could remember one of those days when recently when the governor was commissioning the projects. And in that joyous mood, when he just left the APC, the PDP to the APC. He made mention to the Mamount crowd that if you're supporting him, or if you're supporting Mr. President Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you shouldn't follow corner. You shouldn't follow, through the back door. You should do it openly for all to see. And the reason why the governor said that is crystal clear to all. The governor of Rivers State is someone that enjoys organic support from Rivers people, not rented crowd. I can tell you that for free. If the governor goes to anywhere in the state today, you see people come out spontaneously to embrace him. And the governor had hitherto told all Rivers people that Mr. President is whom we are supporting. He didn't just do that because he defected. That has been his mantra, right from his campaign period to when he became governor, and even in the midst of all of this battle. And that was why, even when he was suspended, he continued to say Mr. President is a father and is his wisdom, he knows what he's doing. The governor has never been antagonistic to Mr. President.
Well, I think you're trying to be political here.
Because
you can't hear that song and not know that it was not targeted at the other side.
Well, it didn't call anybody.
Because, even the wicked people to also release their own too, and it has this element of corner and all of that. And so, people are actually saying from outside that the youths of the state are also part of the problem, because they are not chastising these politicians and asking them to do the right thing, and that's to put the Rivers people first before their own interests.
Well, the youths have not rested on their oars on this matter. We have times without number called on them, just like I am doing on this studio, to follow the path of peace. However, I want to tell you that the governor of the states has only been the one, respecting that call. Remember, he had also told us that no price is too high to pay for peace.
And that's what people are saying, that that's a sign of weakness. That this is the weakest Rivers State governor that the Rivers people have had since 1999, because he doesn't seem to be exercising the powers of a governor like we've always known previous Rivers State governors to be like. What do you say about that? Well,
when a man is demonstrating leadership and is deviating from this politics of violence, people tend to interpret it or misconstrue it to be weakness. The governor of the state is nowhere close to weakness. He's not a weak governor. He's a performing governor. I can also tell you, in the face of all this political provocation and disturbances, the governor's eyes are even still on the ball. Just in December, over 17 projects were commissioned and still counting. Now, the governor of the state is one single governor that has projects amounting to hundreds of billions. And I can give you a few of them, like the Trans-Calabari Road. That's over 200 and something billion naira. Not federal government job, it's Rivers State government job. The Port Harcourt Ring Road. And, they are just littered all over the place. He is going about this, and his campaign promises are being fulfilled. However, if this crisis were not there, this governor would have been the best. Even in the face of this crisis, I would see George Jima to be the best, because no governor can have the stoic to be doing what you're doing, protecting the interests of Rivers State in the face of all of these challenges.
I don't think you've been looking at the impeachment proceedings and seeing all the pressure that has been put on the institutions in Rivers to work so that this impeachment will be hastened. And there are plans, from what I've heard, that the idea is to ensure that Fubara is removed latest by the end of January. How much more can Fubara withstand of all of this that's happening in Rivers State? Do you think that he has the political capacity to survive this onslaught by the Rivers State House of Assembly?
Well, the governor of Rivers State, this war is not his war, and I will
Whose war is it?
I'll tell you why I said so. The governor has decided to use Rivers resources for Rivers people and Rivers States. And that is why you see all of these problems. If the governor had agreed to play ball, has agreed to just throw this money around just like they wanted him to do, he wouldn't have had issues. The Eastwise sole administrator of the states, we have it on good authority, documentary 2, that he gave each of the assembly members the sum of 350 million naira each, and an SUV vehicle and all of those largesse. He did that, and they accepted it. Now, to even talk about the law, that's an aberration, because state assembly members don't have right to receive money into their personal accounts. They ought to nominate a project via the Ministry of Works, and the government will fund those projects.
Yeah.
But now they receive those money. And I want to use this medium to call on the anti-graft agencies to invite them for questioning, because we've seen an assembly set who are interested.
I just hope you yourself, you have the evidence. I mean you are a
it's-
youth group. Why don't you
it's-
petition the EFCC yourself?
It's
with the
everywhere.
facts? Yeah, I mean, now you are calling on the anti-graft agencies. Why don't you petition the anti-graft agencies yourself? I mean, you are a youth group and all of that. If you feel that your representatives have not performed very well and they are going overboard by collecting these monies, I mean, shouldn't you be interested in it?
Well, the stakeholders in Rivers State are doing something about this. Like I said, we are consulting widely so that the actions we'll be taking in the coming days will be the action that will bring about total peace. Because we want peace. You know, peace is the hallmark, and that's what we are pursuing here. Okay. If there is peace in Rivers State can compete favorably with any state in this country, and that's what we want. Okay,
let's talk about the president and his intervention as we try to wrap up this conversation. The last time the president intervened, I mean, there was a whole lot of outcry by youth groups, by elders and women, on the declaration of state of emergency. Now he's done that, and the 6 months is gone, and he's given power back to Fubara. What exactly do you expect the president to do again? I mean, hasn't it exposed the weakness of the governor that it looks like maybe he's also not determined to actually take charge as the chief executive officer of the state? What should President Tinubu be doing again if you would want him to intervene? Well, the president's intervention is very imperative once again at this time. And his intervention this time should take this tour. The APC is the president's party. That's the ruling party. The governor is a member of that party. And the president should not allow anybody destroy the APC. Now, will the impeachment of Fubara destroy the APC? That's what you're saying? Just hold on. I'm giving you these instances. The people that are blowing this war song, the people that are behind all of these challenges are not even members of that party. In fact, some of them had even come on national TV to accuse and, call names, members of the APC. I mean, National Working Committee members. We are aware all of these things are in your studio. Now, the president... Are you saying the House of Assembly members are not members of APC? Is that what you're saying? Few of them... Because we heard them saying that they are defected to the APC. Few of them said they have defected, but, they have a pedigree that me as a person, I don't believe whatever they say. Because that was what they did in the other round. When they said, oh, they've defected, it was everywhere, only for them to go to court and say, oh, they never defected. So until we see them with their names in the party register, with their party cards, and fully receive, I may not want to believe that narrative. I believe they're just coming as spoilers. They are being used as a bait, as puppets, to cause crisis in the APC. That's what they are doing. The number one supporter of Mr. President in Rivers State is Governor Sim Fubara. Go and sample opinion there. I live there, I stay there, I know what I'm talking about. And if anybody wants to remove Governor Sim Fubara, that means you don't want the party to win election in that state. Forget about this higher class. I know what I'm telling you. And you don't think that Wike has the capacity to deliver, Mr. President? Being someone who is serving in his cabinet, I mean, are you underrating maybe the powers of Wike or potentials of Wike to also, because he says that he is for the president and that they have a rainbow coalition and the rainbow coalition will vote for the president. The FCT minister, the last time I checked, is not a member of the All Progressives Congress. And you cannot be a pope more than the Catholic, right? The governor of Rivers State is a member of the party and is a leader. He's the leader of All Progressives Congress in Rivers State. It is not debatable. And so he is the man that holds the mantle. And they know that because if they allow him, he is going to win overwhelmingly for Mr. President. They want to paint a picture to the presidency to say that, look, this man is not on ground, just because the man has decided to follow the path of peace. And we want to encourage him to continue to follow the path of peace. Because if Governor Fubara has done it the other way around, as of today, I'm not sure there will be anything like Rivers State. All right. I mean, I'm very sure you know that Nigerians are really watching, and Rivers State is part of the country, and of course, we won't allow that part of the country to boil over. But quickly, just before I let you go, are you thinking of a post-Fubara governorship? Are we in that phase by any chance? Because, I mean, we hear people also accusing Martin Amaewhule that he wants to become governor. And so it looks like he's preparing grounds to becoming a governor. That's why they are sacking, they are planning to impeach both the governor and the deputy governor. So are you people in Rivers State already thinking about a post-Fubara tenure within this period?
A mention of that alone is spiking political crisis. And that is not being contemplated in the mind of any Rivers people, because I've given you the analysis here that Martins Amaewhule is from the same ethnic group that has been governor for 16 years, and that there's no way he can be governor through the back door. If he wants to be governor, he should wait. After the end of Fubara's tenure in 2027, he can contest with him and go home with shame.
Oh, are you saying that Fubara is not going for a second time?
No, what I mean contest with him, he can go and look for other party and fly with Fubara, but he will go home with shame, because Rivers people, I'm not sure even in his own ward he's going to win. Oh, wow. Because he has shown that he does not have the interest of the state at heart. He has shown serious and unbridled desperation. And that's not the character of an average Rivers man. And
before I let you go, what other efforts have been put on ground? We've seen efforts, by Chief Ferdinand Alabrabra being approached by different groups. I mean, and then, of course, different groups also been approaching Fubara and some of his people. What other steps are being put in place that the public may not be aware, including maybe youth groups or women groups and all of that, to ensure that, this latest round of impeachment allegations and proceedings does not, escalate beyond what it is?
Well, like you said, you mentioned a couple of Rivers elders. Even the traditional rulers have also set up a committee to look at this matter and to meet with parties to resolving this matter. Right. But my fear is that would the parties on the other side listen to this intervention? Because in the past, all of these interventions have fell on deaf ears. And that is why I want to once again appeal to Mr. President to once again intervene with the view of sustaining peace. And this time, this intervention should be that the governor should be allowed to perform his constitutional duties.
Well, when you say the president should intervene, I hope he doesn't intervene and declare another state of emergency again, because I hope he can also do that. No, he still has the powers to do that. If in his assessment, these politicians don't want peace to reign, maybe declare another state of emergency. Would young people like you in Rivers welcome another state of emergency?
No, we are not anticipating, and we believe that Mr. President will never declare another state of emergency in Rivers State.
Right. Okay.
However, what we expect as young people is this. The assembly, with all of this, has actually shown that they are not ready for legislative business. And so we are calling on the National Assembly to invoke relevant sections of the Nigerian Constitution and take over legislative duties of the states. Right. Now, why did I say so?
Very quickly.
The governor of Rivers State has made several attempts to go and present budgets for this same assembly that wants to impeach him for non-presentation of budgets. And they obstructed him, they rebuffed him, they closed their doors. It means there's a secret cow. They don't want the man to, they are becoming a clock in the wheels of governance.
All right.
So the National Assembly have to step up and take over the legislative business of the state so that we can have peace. That will be the best panacea for peace.
All right, we must thank you so much for your views. Legbosi Yamaabana is the spokesman of the Niger Delta Ethnic Nationalities Youth Leaders Forum and also the President General of the Ogoni Youth Federation. Most thank you so much for joining us. We urge youths in the states to see how they can be part of the resolution of the crisis and not fuel it, because, it won't be good for all of you, and including the country.